Hello everybody, it's Wyvern here with another bit of the Warhammer 2 quick match gameplay. This time we are playing as the Greenskins once again against the High Elves, and I do believe this is once again Vulture Ridge. So, been getting this map a whole bunch. I'm not entirely sure why, but either way, I'm having a lot of fun with Greenskins. Definitely very hyped for their buff that they're getting in upcoming patch. For those of you who didn't watch the Ever-Chosen finals, or actually the Ever-Chosen tourney in general, the Wa mechanic that the Greenskins have, or the Wa special ability for their lords, has actually been changed now, and it's going to be changed, and it now provides a map-wide buff to charge bonus, speed, and melee attack, and a pretty significant buff at that, 26, I do believe, extra melee attack. So very, very potent, and potentially is going to make your forces absolutely ridiculous on the offense. So either way, warming up, getting hyped for the Greenskin changes. Been basically playing almost all Greenskins and Dark Elves lately, and High Elves, and so either way, let's kind of break the list down here. I did bring Wartsag, no supporting leadership. Wartsag, of course, a very solid lord, I think, in most if not all cases. He's, of course, coming in with Warpaint of Wartsag for that Fizz Resist, Power of the Wa for extra Winds of Magic, Squiggly Beast for the same reason, Bonewood Staff because it's a great little buff. Fists of Gork, of course, to provide some magic damage as well as melee attack and melee defense. And magic damage is actually good if you have to, say, shut down Dragon Princes. Here we go, and then Foot of Gork, which combos really nicely with Effigy of the Git if you need to wipe out a super elite unit somewhere. Finally, get back here for extra leadership if my opponent has some really nasty fear and terror causing units. 3 Black Orcs make up the front line. Of course, these guys will trade rather well with the Swordmasters of Hoeth, then they'll do okay against just about anything, honestly. They're just a decent unit, plus they're tanky against archers. 2 Savage Orc Big Guns on the flanks. The reason I like the Savage Orc variety is actually because they're faster. 37 speed gives them enough mobility to close the gap with most factions' archers rather quickly, and slightly faster response time, that sort of stuff. And these guys, of course, have a bonus against large, so they'll do well against dragons, cav, that sort of thing. 2 Savage Orc Airboys behind that, and these guys, of course, do have decent melee stats and decent range and AP and all that sort of stuff. They're here to provide me with some defense against skirmishing Lyrian Reavers or enemy archers, that sort of stuff. 2 Nasty Skulkers behind them, of course, providing their smoke bombs and their AP and their flanking potential, and they're somewhat chevron up just to keep their leadership higher. Then Broken Tusk Mob, as well as a normal Orc Boy being on mob, and as you can see, these guys have chevron them up to Veterancy rank 9. This is to get their stats higher and to get their leadership higher. In case I really need to shut down the dragon, I really wanted that high leadership. You can see 91 leadership, absolutely crazy, which does give them that ability to just hold their ground and slug it out with a dragon if they really have to, without immediately terror routing. Similarly, we do have Broken Tusk Mob over here. So hopefully between these two, they can really lay the smack down on any big flyers. For my opponent, a bit of an interesting build. Going very shooting heavy with his main line here. He's got archers, he's got 3 units of archers, I do believe, as well as, and they're kind of stacking with each other here, but 3 units of Lotham Seaguard with shields. So, a very heavy firing squad, backed by 2 white lines of Krace on the flanks, a Sun Dragon up on one end, and a Princess on a Sun Dragon on the other. And she does have some of her upgrades. You can see she does have the Talisman of Loic, which is a self-buff, as well as Volley of High Arrows, which provides okay magic missile. Honestly, it's not that great, but it does provide a missile. And then she does have Loose, which is a 10 reload speed buff, which I do believe is similar to the upcoming buff with the Handmaiden. On the flank, my opponent does have some Silver Helms and Dragon Princes, which would normally be a big threat, but I actually have several options to shut them down. Regardless, you can see those mobs of archers are unloading on me. Right now, you can see the Savage Orc Big Guns do take a little bit of a breath attack on both flanks, but we're just piling straight in. I'm trying to get my Black Orcs in against the White Lines of Krace. You can see I'm actually pathing the Savage Orcs to get in after on the archers, and my own archers are starting to tee off on my opponent's archery. So nasty breath attack there, roasting some big guns, but really doesn't matter. The Black Orcs are in. They're going to start dumpstering these white lines very quickly. You can see I do start shifting Wartsag over there to try to boost some morale, and of course, Here We Go does go down to get the maximum benefit with the damage output. In the meantime, you can see the Nasty Skulkers do overcommit a little bit, but I do start pulling them back, and they're going to be in a position to intercept the Sun Dragon. You can see Wartsag up there in the front providing support. You can see poor Lotham Seaguard just getting completely trashed by the Black Orcs. These Savage Orc Big Guns do rout, taking the buff with him, unfortunately, but you can see the Black Orcs still very much holding their own despite everything. And over here on the flank, you can see the Broken Tusk Mob, which I've been trying to sweep around into the Sun Dragon. It's actually going to get intercepted a bit here by the Silver Helms, who I don't believe were actually ordered to charge into him either. So what happens here is a bit of a complete mess as my opponent's cavalry gets caught up on my Boar Boys. In turn, my Boar Boys countercharge, and so it becomes a bit of a mosh pit here. But the Boar Boys do have decent stats just because they've been buffed up so much. Wartsack's here in the pits, the Black Orcs, you can see hacking through that Sun Dragon. And Wartsack here just cutting down some of these unworthy white lines. You can see a Smoke Bomb has gone down, and Nasty Skulkers are in the pits, and they're going to be dragging these poor guys down into the muck. And you can see they're just prison shanking those poor High Elves and just really not giving them a good day. Over here on the flank, you can see a similar issue as this Princess does get caught by a Smoke Bomb. Once again, the Nasty Skulkers are in the pit. They've got some decent buffs to their leadership. Of course, they are not going to last very long, but Terror only kicks in once your leadership drops to 14, so it's going to take a little while before they finally do Terror out. They do out there, but so now the Savage Orc Big Guns are in there, and they're going to chop through her 50 armor very, very quickly. On the flanks, you can see the Black Orcs in a bit of a bad fight with these Lothran Seaguard, but these Black Orcs over here pursuing the archers and applying constant pressure and really ruining my opponent's chances of pursuing. And you can see these archers getting whittled down by the Savage Orc Air Boys as the dragon is forced to rout. And here in the pits, you can see it's a no quarter fight. Wartsack is in there, popping get back here to keep these guys in the fight. Fist of Gork does go down on these Orc Boar Boy Big Guns, and you can see they're just chopping their way through these Silver Helms and the Dragon Princes. And I really don't want to let these units escape. You can see I move in to encircle the Dragon Princes to prevent them from escaping, and I don't care so much about the Silver Helms. They're kind of a low-end cavalry, and they're so beat up that it doesn't matter. But the Dragon Princes, even on 10 models, they can potentially be a nuisance. So we're trying to murder them to a man here in the pits, and they're down to 8 models. They're 7, and they're just getting slaughtered with really no hope of retaliation. Everywhere else, you can see the Air Boys are pushing forward. The Princess, of course, is going to kind of pick these troops off. You can see they're routing here and there, but it really doesn't matter. She's losing so much HP, even with 100 kills. Who cares? The rest of the fight is going in my favor. You can see over here these Black Orcs still chasing the archers. Most of my opponent's troops have been routed to the far peripheries, and I still have 2 rather healthy units of cavalry who I can use to chase the archers down if push comes to shove. I also do have these 2 units of Savage Orc Air Boys who, once again, if push comes to shove, can dumpster some of these archers and actually run them down in melee. And at this point, my opponent does decide to simply GG out. So we do a quick overview of the stats. Obviously, Black Orcs doing a great job as always. The Savage Orc Air Boys, though, raking a surprising amount of kills, just picking at those archers throughout the whole game, and really doing a pretty good job there. Both of the Orc Boar Boy Big Guns raking in 31, 23 kills, which against Dragon Princes and against Silver Helms was a really solid performance. Obviously, they got some magical help. They did luck out with not having to tank the full charge, but they had Nasty Skulker help, but nonetheless the performance was rather good. Nasty Skulkers tying down the dragons, really ruining their day, great stuff, and the Big Guns running amok in the back line, also pretty potent, so I was really pretty satisfied with this build. Obviously the Savage Orcs are a little bit of a risk because they have no armor, so archers will, despite not breaking through the physical resist, are just going to do a lot of damage to them, but nonetheless, they're quick on their feet. They can do a lot of damage to cavalry, they can do a lot of damage to flyers, and just a very potent choice in general, I think. And then Wartsack just providing support, honestly. That's all you can expect the Hoglord to do. For my opponent's build, you can see the Princess raking in over 100 kills, so getting a lot of work done, but the rest of the army just wasn't able to hold up. You can see the Dragon Princess getting dumpstered in the pits, same with the Silver Helms. And the Sun Dragon, all 3 of these high-tier elite units that my opponent was kind of counting on to carry the day, got basically massacred by some of the Black Orcs and the Broken Tusk Mob and Orc Boar Boy Big Guns there. So really got a good value out of these units, and was pretty happy. It's rare that you get good value out of your Orc Boar Boy Big Guns, in my opinion, so I was definitely pretty pleased with that. As for the rest of the build, definitely I think a little too archer heavy. If you want to be more competitive against Greenskins, I definitely think you need some AP in the front line, or you need more cavalry to shut down units like Black Orcs. You can't rely on just a mob of archers, I think, because Black Orcs just weather it way too effectively. They've got too much armor, they've got too much HP for the High Elf arrows to be much more than a nuisance. So either way, good game to my opponent Michael here. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. If you have any comments, any criticisms, anything like that, be sure to share them and I'll respond as soon as I can. As usual, guys, I do appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.